Hello and welcome into this week's NASCAR K&N Pro Series Rewind show right here on Racing News Now. As always, I'm your host Garth Allen. Thank you once again for joining me today. If this is your first time catching a Racing News Now video, consider going down below to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from RNN. On today's K&N Rewind, we're looking back at Saturday's United Site Services 70 laps, 74.1 miles around the 1.058 New Hampshire Motor Speedway in Loudon, New Hampshire. Only 2 caution flags in this race. And before we get into that, am I the only one that feels like 70 laps is really short for this race? Like, too short? It was shorter than the modified race, which was 100 laps. And isn't the K&N Pro Series supposed to be, in terms of the NASCAR ladder, isn't K&N supposed to be above modified? So shouldn't that mean that their race should have been longer? I know New Hampshire is a big race for the modifieds, I get that, but I guess it being that K&N is supposed to be a bigger race overall in the grand scheme of things, why do they only get a 70-lap race at New Hampshire when the modifieds get 100? I guess I don't understand the logic there. I don't know. Somebody explain this to me. If there's a valid reason for it, I'd love to know it, but I don't know what it is. Because 70 laps just seemed really short to me. The race was only barely over 40 minutes. This race went by so quickly. It just felt like nothing happened, and really, not a lot did happen. 2 caution flags. First one at lap 21 for debris in turn 2. Brittany Zamora got the free pass on that caution. And then very shortly thereafter, lap 28, the 71 of Bill Hoff spun off of turn 4 and got into the wall. Those are your only cautions in this race. Again, though, you're almost halfway through the race there by the time we go back green from that Bill Hoff caution at lap 33. So it's not like it was a huge green flag run we ran at the end when there weren't that many laps to begin with. But I don't know. It felt like way too short of a race, even for a K&N race. 2 lead changes in this race. Chase Cabré led from, or Chase Cabré. I've heard 10 different pronunciations of that name, and it's very hard for me to say Cabré, which, if I remember correctly, is the correct pronunciation. I asked him the last time I talked to him. I'm going to have to go back and look before I talk to him tomorrow. Cabré, I believe, is the correct pronunciation, if I remember correctly. But it's hard when there's like 10 different pronunciations that people throw out there because nobody knows how to pronounce it. Cabré. Chase Cabré led the first 24 laps from the pole, his second career K&N Pro Series pole position, mind you, and had just won his first K&N race at the previous K&N race at Memphis, which feels like it was 6 months ago now. I mean, it basically was. We're talking that was on June 1st. So, yeah, we're talking like a month and a half ago. So, it was a while ago. He led the first 24 laps. Derek Kraus took the lead on lap 25 off of the restart from the first caution, the debris caution. And then Cabré took the lead right back after Kraus had led for 10 laps on lap number 35 off the restart for the second caution and never looked back. Led the final 36 laps on his way to his second career K&N Pro Series victory, his second in a row. Took him a while to win, but now that he did, all of a sudden he's just winning every race, which, hey, I guess that's what you want to do, right? 60 laps total were led by Cabré in this race, with Derek Kraus leading 10 laps. Very hard battle to the finish between Sam Mayer and Derek Kraus. We only got a very quick glimpse of it on the Fans Choice TV broadcast, but there was some contact coming to the line between those two, with Mayer coming out on top. Kraus had been trying to hold that second position. Mayer was quicker in those closing laps, and Kraus was trying to hold that spot. Mayer somehow got to the inside in 3 and 4. We didn't see how. They didn't show it on the Fans Choice TV broadcast, but Mayer did get to the inside of Kraus, and they were side by side down the front stretch, and it looked to me like Kraus just kind of hooked a left into Mayer as they came to the line. Like he wasn't happy with whatever move Mayer had made in 3 and 4. Again, we didn't get to see that move, so I don't know what exactly the move was. If any of you were there at the race and maybe saw what Mayer did to make that move, and maybe I interpreted that wrong. Maybe Kraus wasn't mad. He was just trying to maybe a little too aggressively side draft. I don't know. But it looked to me like that was a I'm mad, I'm going to hit you kind of move. I don't know. Either way, Mayer was able to get the nose out in front and get the second position in this race. Kraus fell to third. Max McLaughlin came home with a strong fourth place finish, and Tanner Gray rounded out the top 5. Rest of your top 10, Riley Herbst had an interesting race. He actually was running fairly well early in this race in that 17 car, and then got shuffled up toward the wall by his teammate Tanner Gray there in the middle of the race. Did make slight contact with the wall, had to come down pit road and make a little bit of repairs. Did, though, come back for a fairly strong 6th place finish in this one. You gotta wonder, after what Gray did to him, if he had gotten back to the bumper of Tanner Gray before the end of this race, what actually would have happened. Never did, I don't think, ever get to the bumper of Gray by the end of this race, but you gotta wonder if something would have happened there. Because if I were Riley Herbst, I would have felt like I was wronged in that situation. So we'll never know because he never got to him, but interesting thought nonetheless. Spencer Davis came home in 7th, Drew Dollar 8th, Colin Garrett 9th, and Lawless Allen in the 12 for Bill McAnally Racing. Actually the second highest BMR car in this race, and only the second one in the top 10, comes home in 10th. Outside of Derek Kraus, not a great day for BMR. And I don't know what the reasoning for that is, because it seems like every time we go to a K&N East race, outside of New Smyrna, where Hailie Deegan started from the pole and had she not had her mechanical issues, probably had the fastest car in New Smyrna. Outside of that race, Derek Kraus has been the only BMR car to really even show up for any of these East races. Hailie Deegan, Brittany Zamora, and if they bring a 4th car, whether it be Lawless Allen or whoever, they don't really show up. They're nowhere to be found, not running anywhere near the front. And as we flip to the final page here, 11th through 17th, we'll see Hailie Deegan here in 11th, Brittany Zamora there in 12th. Zamora was a lap down early, got the free pass on that first caution, and then still ended up a lap down by the end of the race. So I'm not really sure what the reasoning for that is, because you would think they would be bringing the same equipment that they're bringing to the West races. So I'm not really sure why they are so fast in every West race. Like across the board, every BMR car, for the most part, is always fast in a K&N West race. But we come to these K&N East races, and Derek Kraus is the only one to really have any kind of speed whatsoever. I don't know what the reasoning for that is. It kind of baffles me. Not going to lie, it kind of baffles me. Ruben Garcia came home in the 14th position. He had electrical issues near the end of the race and ended up 4 laps from the finish there in the 14th position. Brandon McReynolds out very early as well. Only completed 9 laps with suspension issues. So the race that he's had some success in, and a track that he's been pretty good at, Brandon McReynolds not really getting a chance to try and run for the win at New Hampshire. But that's your results from the United Site Services 70. I alluded to it a little bit ago. We do have a winter interview with Chase Cabri coming up tomorrow morning. We're recording that late morning on Sunday, so look for that somewhere midday coming up on Sunday. If this is after that, it will be linked down below in the description. If this is before that, make sure you're subscribed and you got your notifications turned on, and you will get a notification when that interview comes out, and you'll get to hear from Chase Cabri about this victory. All right, so let's get into the point standings following this race. Derek Kraus still holds the lead in the K&N Pro Series East, only by 2 points though over Sam Mayer. That didn't change. He came in leading Mayer by 2 points and leaves leading Mayer by 2 points. The biggest change here is that Chase Cabri has really closed that gap now. He's only 6 points out from Derek Kraus there in the third position. Tanner Gray has stayed stationary there in the fourth position, 15 points back, and Max McLaughlin still holds down the fifth position there in 22nd. Actually, nobody moving this week. Everybody staying in the same spots they were in. The points differentials have changed, but nobody actually moving up or down this week. Everybody staying in the same position that they were coming into this race. I think we're really starting to see a really good championship battle shape up this year in K&N East between Derek Kraus, Sam Mayer, and Chase Cabri. And we may even be getting a little bit of a rivalry starting between Derek Kraus and Sam Mayer after what happened there in the last lap in New Hampshire. Again, that may have been me misinterpreting it. There may have been no ill will whatsoever, but it just looked like Kraus was not happy with Mayer for whatever Mayer had done there on the last lap. You know, we might not have seen the end of that. We might need to prepare ourselves to see some sparks flying here in the latter half of the K&N East season. Should be really good here as we get down through the rest of the season to see what actually happens here. Derek Kraus trying to become the first guy to win the K&N East and West championship in the same season. And actually, he will be the last guy, I believe, that will even have the opportunity to do that, because with how everything's getting restructured next year, with only 6 or 7 K&N races on both sides next year, I'm wondering if they'll even have an actual champion for them, because that seems like a very short schedule to actually be able to say, yeah, I'm the K&N East champion over 6 races. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with that next year, but this may be the last chance for someone to actually win both the K&N East and the K&N West in the same season, and Derek Kraus may be the first and only guy to be able to do it. So that could be pretty cool to see as we get down through the remainder of the season. But that is your point standings following the United Site Services 70 from New Hampshire, and I believe that'll do it for us on this K&N Rewind. Xfinity Rewind went up just a little bit ago, and then we also had an ARCA Rewind for their race on Friday night from Iowa go up earlier today as well. So go check those out if you haven't already. Again, a Chase Cabri interview coming up either late tomorrow morning, midday, somewhere around in there, getting recorded late morning, so somewhere there midday on Sunday, you'll see a Chase Cabri interview go up. Working on a winter interview for Xfinity as well. Not sure if that's going to happen, but we're working on it nonetheless. So if that goes up, you will see that as well, as long as you are subscribed and you have your notifications turned on. And Cup Rewind coming up tomorrow evening, Sunday evening, to recap their race from New Hampshire as well. So lots coming up here in the next couple of days. And on into the future here on RNN, just continuing to get better and better here and give you the content that you want. If there's something you want to see on here, just let us know. And if it's possible to do it, we will definitely do it for you. So if you haven't done it already, you need to go down below, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from RNN. While you're down there, why don't you hit that big thumbs up button if you like the video. It is much appreciated when you do. But at that, this has been the NASCAR K&N Pro Series East Rewind Show. I'm Garth Allen for Racing News Now.